Assassin's Creed is a franchise all about a secret war between the Assassins and the Templar Order. So in the spirit of secrets, today we're diving into the world of Assassin's Creed 1 to uncover 5 secret details that you might not have known about in Assassin's Creed. Number 5. A Prince of Persia spin-off. Assassin's Creed was initially conceived as a spin-off of the Prince of Persia series, with the working title Prince of Persia Assassins. The idea was to create a game that would expand the universe of Prince of Persia while introducing new gameplay mechanics and a fresh storyline. The original concept for Prince of Persia Assassins was developed by Patrice Désilets, who was also the creative director for Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. Désilets envisioned a game that would focus on a female bodyguard who was tasked with rescuing and protecting the prince. The game was set in Jerusalem, and the story would revolve around the prince's journey to become a king. The protagonist would be a skilled assassin, and her abilities would be central to the gameplay. As development progressed, the team at Ubisoft Montreal began to realize that the game they were creating was becoming increasingly distinct from the Prince of Persia series. The gameplay mechanics such as the parkour-inspired movement and the open-world exploration were a significant departure from the linear platforming-focused gameplay of the Prince of Persia games. Additionally, the darker and more mature themes of the story, as well as the focus on stealth and assassination, set it apart from the more light-hearted and fantastical tone of the Prince of Persia games. Recognizing the potential for a new and unique franchise, Ubisoft decided to rebrand the game as Assassin's Creed and shift the focus away from the Prince of Persia universe. This decision allowed the development team to fully explore the new gameplay mechanics and narrative ideas they'd been working on without being constrained by the existing Prince of Persia lore and expectations. Number 4. Why so many flags? In the first installment of Assassin's Creed, players were introduced to a vast open world environment filled with various activities and collectibles. One of the most prominent collectibles in the game was the inclusion of flags, scattered throughout the cities of Jerusalem, Acre, Damascus, and the Kingdom. Interestingly, the decision to include flags in the game was a last-minute addition prompted by the head of Ubisoft's son finding the game boring during a playtest. The development team, recognizing the need to add more depth and challenge to the gameplay experience, quickly implemented the flags as a way to encourage exploration and provide an additional layer of challenge for players. The flags were strategically placed in various locations, often hidden or in hard-to-reach places, motivating players to explore every nook and cranny of the game's vast cities. Furthermore, the inclusion of flags in Assassin's Creed 1 can be seen as a nod to the historical context of the game. Set during the time of the Third Crusade, the game's world was filled with various factions and allegiances, each represented by their own unique banners and symbols. The flags in the game served as a subtle reminder of the complex political landscape of the time, with each flag representing a different faction or group within the game's universe. A little fun detail for you: King Richard once upset the King of Germany at the time for taking down his flags, so imagine what you're doing with all 420 of them. Number 3. The Leap of the Faithless. In Assassin's Creed 1, we were introduced to the iconic Leap of Faith early on. In the first memory block of the game, when Robert de Sabre and his Templar army lay siege to Marsyas village, Al-Mualim shows off the strength of the assassins and their fearlessness towards death by making it seem like the assassins were jumping to their deaths towards God. This is when we first get to perform the iconic Leap of Faith, a staple of the Assassin's Creed series. After this point, we do this all the time, across every single Assassin's Creed, from viewpoints and random locations with a flock of pigeons nearby, along with some hay on the ground. If you see it, you can perform a Leap of Faith. But did you know there's another type of Leap of Faith that you can perform? The Leap of the Faithless is another move that you can perform by doing the following. Simply hang from any viewpoint or location which has the hay on the ledge, and then proceed to drop. By doing this, Altair will flail his arms embarrassingly as he falls backward, and looks much less graceful than the graceful Leap of Faith. It's not a move you'll be performing often, but it's an interesting detail which the game doesn't tell you about. Number 2. Breaking legs. In Assassin's Creed 1, a lot of people have a strong complaint that the combat system is pretty lackluster, but the reality is pretty far from the truth. The only problem with the combat in AC1 is that it's poorly tutorialized and not well explained to the player, but I'll say that for another video. However, did you know that you can break people's legs in Assassin's Creed 1? If you counter a counterclockwise spin attack, a two-handed overhead strike, or a slow two-handed right side swing at just the right time, you will be able to perform some of the advanced counters in the game, which is a secret in and of itself. If you have your sword or your short blade equipped and you counter one of these attacks and then press the legs button immediately after you counter, Altair will break the legs of the enemy you countered, leaving them alive but crippled at the same time. It's a devastating way of finishing an encounter, and a secret detail not many players know about, let alone know how to pull it off, so now you can consider yourself among the rare few people who do. Number 1. The time-traveling ship. No, I'm not making this up. In Assassin's Creed 1, if you manage to pickpocket Warren Riddick's pen at the end of Memory Block 3, you'll be able to gain access to his personal computer inside the main Abstergo lab. If you then browse through his emails near the end of the game, you'll come across one about the conference room and the codes for the door alongside the laptop inside. Once inside the conference room, if you load up the laptop, you'll find an email detailing all the pieces of Eden that Abstergo Industries are currently looking into, and among such items such as the Holy Grail, which they claim doesn't exist, there's also a piece of Eden which is a time travel travelling ship. I quote, Philadelphia Project. Data provided from Animus Subject 12 indicates that the ship briefly manifested in a future state for approximately 18 minutes. It is unclear whether the timeline is consistent with or parallel to our own. Although we have recovered enough data to reconstruct and repair the original artifact used in the experiment, administration has refused to move forward on the project, citing paradox concerns. Corporate policy remains in place. Any objects found to interfere with or manipulate time must be contained. Artifact will be moved to secure storage. And there you have it, 5 secrets you probably didn't know about in Assassin's Creed 1. If you love Assassin's Creed as much as I do, I reckon you're going to love the video that's up on screen now. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one.